Growth isn't loud, it's steady, intentional, and personal. And at Grow with Patriciah Alex, we make space for it. With Patriciah Alex as the host and the co-host Rachel Kahugu. This isn't just a talk, it's transformation. Real stories, real lessons, real growth. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m., your next breakthrough begins here. Tap subscribe and let's grow with Patriciah Alex.
Welcome to our part 2 show. This is Grow with Patriciah Alex with my co-host
Rachel Kahugu. Very excited to be here and I'm already learning so much. Thank you so much. Asante sana and thank you.
You're welcome.
I think I'm ready to be a young mother.
Wow.
Not ready.
You're welcome.
Sindio?
Yeah.
Nikishakuwa young mother itabidi tukuje tena kwa hii show. Niambie sasa, but hata mimi kuna kitu hamkuniambia. There's something I've realized. So we'll come and have this show again. But asante sana for being here. Thank you so much for sticking around. I know that you are still learning right here on Grow with Patriciah Alex. Now,
Yeah.
Tukimalizia kwa show last week, we were talking about some of the questions that you have as young mothers. Shajiweka hapo. Some of the questions that you have as young mothers. Na tukimalizia, there's a question you had asked about balancing and about what is one thing that you can be genuinely worried about. No kosawa. And mom mentioned about food.
Yeah.
Iyo nayo, you have to eat well.
Yeah.
But you then mentioned that usijaribu kuplana maisha yako.
Todore
ure. It is the baby who will plan your life, literally. But I think that's just fine. Yeah. What is your take home from last week's episode?
Wow, I really learned a lot. And number one is that I need not to worry about anything.
Yeah.
I just need to entirely trust in God.
Yeah.
And just live, because life continues. As long as you plan, things may not happen as you planned.
Yeah.
But life continues. So you just live on, be positive about life,
Yeah.
and also be positive about motherhood. And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. What question would you have to mom as a young mother?
As a young mother also, I would like to ask about, you see, even before we get married, let me go back to before marriage. Everyone has a vision that they see, and everyone has their own dreams. And you realize that the moment you become a mother, some of these dreams, you might feel like they have been cut short. And now, as a young mother, I'm wondering, how do I pursue my vision? How do I continue pursuing my career while still mothering? Yeah.
Wow. Motherhood is an interesting field altogether. But I think one of the things I've always said that one to call themselves a meeting and ask yourself, is this worth to do? Because at times you get somebody, they have a big business,
Yeah.
and then you still want to be in your career. I think that is not necessary. You can join your husband to do whatever he's doing. Like if you have a business, it's not a must I dress and go to be a teacher in somebody else's business. I can marry my vision with my husband and just support him. If like for example, he has a big shop, you can be one of the people helping to manage in the business. If not so, if you have like a job, a career, after some months you can just go organize well to go back, get a help at home, and just continue with your job, because you still need the income as a mother every time. Yeah.
Okay. And how would you balance making sure that as much as you're working and you're trying to get the money, is that hamkurongani mahali with the husband? You know, I've had many young mothers saying, "Unajua mimi, my husband aliniambia niache kazi nikiwa nyumbani, take care of the kids." Ama wengine anasema mimi mwenyewe niliona I can't manage kufanya kazi and to take care of the kids. So at some point you end up losing yourself entirely.
I don't think it's losing yourself. If you get a baby, like we have babies, I think there's nothing important in my life like my babies. I think the most important thing in my house, not the house itself, it's my babies and my husband.
Yeah.
If I lose myself in them, then I'm giving myself to the family fully, and they are very important. By the way, if you have seen somebody old and they don't have families, how do they look? Yeah, the most important thing in your life is your generation.
Yeah.
From where you are, this is your generation that you are building. You can take care. Imagine I sorry to say this, the day you die, they will not talk about the buildings you had, the many shabas. They will talk about your children, number 1, number 2, number 3, and your husband. So
and how you
I
raise
think
them.
that is the most important thing. Sometimes we lose ourselves in the world and forget our world is my generation. The moment I leave the world, they talk about my first baby, my second one, my third born.
Yeah.
So all the other things, they will never be very important.
Okay.
That's why we lose. It's not losing ourselves, but what is very important is having my generation lining up and being very special. Because if you leave your children to the husband, they will marry the tabias and the mitidos of the husband.
Yeah.
Do you know your child will be like your husband? Do you know the first born, the second born, and the third one you bring another one? They will so you will be wondering, what clan do I have?
Yeah.
Are they my clans?
Yeah.
Because they will look different. They will be very different. And finally, something will shock mothers by the end of the time. If you are very organized and your husband is very disorganized, your babies will imagine the whole day. They only know the house girl. So their tabias, they are talking, they will join that reign,
Yeah.
the Amstana. Why don't you sit down, think of what you are doing, and calculate what is important?
Yeah.
Because some people work because there's no other income. But if you are able to set apart all the things, and first bring out a baby until they go to school. Because now we'll be meeting in the evening, and the teachers, the schools have structures.
Yeah.
So I gave up my career for my babies. I'm a teacher by profession.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is very expensive. My babies are expensive by my few thousands that I'm going to bring in the house.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. I love that. That if you lose yourself into your family, it means that you're giving yourself fully into the family, which is important.
Yeah, that's true. Because actually, I think on top of that is the moment you give, that is giving into your family, as you pour into them, you know, there's these tendencies. The reason that's become a challenge to most mothers is because one feels as if they're losing something. And thank you so much, Mom, for clarifying that you're not losing on anything.
Yeah.
You're not losing
gaining.
just because you're being there. So you're gaining.
Yeah.
You're not inferior. Because actually that tends to make one feel like, am I worth? That's, now you compare your worth to whatever you possess, whatever you earn. And now, as Mom mentioned about comparing and competition with other ladies, you feel like you're inferior. But thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah.
We know that we are not losing as we invest our energy into our children.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How should the young mother deal with the extended family, the in-laws?
Wow. I think I'm lucky I have not had problems with my in-laws.
Yeah.
That's one of the major. I think I'm blessed
You
to
are.
have a mother-in-law who really understands me, and she took me like her girl. And the siblings are okay. The others are people's theories, depending on maybe where you're married. But I didn't have I didn't have such a problem.
Yeah.
I met a family that just took me in, and the funny thing that their firstborn is named like me.
Oh,
The
nice.
secondborn is named after my sister. So I just came in and met this family who were, it's like they were waiting for their brother or their son to get married.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I didn't have such a problem.
Yeah.
I wouldn't talk about somebody else's experience.
Yeah, for sure. But maybe because I know the people who have really struggled, and not only the in-laws, but even the extended family. Could be even from their side, but the extended. And especially, maybe you'll tell me if it's true, especially if your son or your daughter is the first granddaughter or grandson in that family. It is everyone's responsibility. They want to know how the baby is doing. They want to see the baby because the first one, the first grand there. For such a person, what would you advise them to do for their own sanity and their own peace?
I was we are firstborn with my husband. This baby that I brought in their family was the first grandchild they had. So the parents of my husband would love to have the baby, and my father-in-law would even go to visit with the baby, and I'm like, he really used to feel like he loved the baby more. My husband says that he loved my baby more than he loved him, because he used to go with the baby everywhere. And I had no problem. Until it was, you can't live with them. You can't live with the in-laws. We didn't live with for many years with them. We just stayed with them for 8 months. Like they're being fed, they nurture you until you leave the home. So after we left, it's when they were like, you shouldn't have left, because we have left with, like, they felt the baby is everything to them. But they had to live without the baby. We had to grow up. We had to look for jobs. We had to grow.
So it's okay.
It's okay.
You should learn to accommodate. Okay. Yeah. I hear you. What's your experience there?
I am actually also very blessed because my parents-in-law, they are very amazing. We are good friends. And also my sisters and brothers-in-law, we are just friends. They've been an amazing family. They welcomed me actually in a very good way. So I've not had any such challenge.
Amazing.
But I think, as you've said, you need to be accommodating also and just be kind. That's what I would say maybe. But as for me, I've not had such a bad experience.
Amazing. We thank the Lord.
Sure.
Any question you'd still feel like you have around being a young mother?
Okay. Another one is, you see, being a young mother, as for example, I have 2 under 3. That is, one is 3 and the other one is under 3 years. It's quite demanding when it comes to time. And there are times you feel like you need to connect, you need to socialize, you need to have good friends. So maybe mom can tell us about the best way to come up with how do I connect with my girlfriends, and also the kind of friends that I should have around me so that I can grow and so that I can also be happy out there, be happy generally as a person. So how do I connect?
Wow, one has to have friends, and I think we have gone through classes that we are told you have mentors, you have friends, you have people below your level, that's people you are mentoring, and your mentor must not be your friend, they are mentoring you, but your friends, your age mates, you have to keep constantly looking after them, looking for them, but make sure they are real. It's a hard job. It's hard to have more than 3 friends, like real friends, but you need to get at least 3 people you can call anytime. Nowadays it's good. Those days, our days, we didn't have phones. And life was by step, looking for someone by going to their home. But nowadays, so easy. If you want people, you can measure on 3 people who are, you are of the same class that you can visit. At times leave the baby and visit. At times go for some tea with girls and have fun. At times call them to your house. Not a crowd, but at least 3, so that when you are down, they'll just tell you to relax. Because most of the times when you're alone, you just go down, going. Because you're surrounded by the same environment. So make sure you have people above you, people at your level, and people below you. Because that one helps someone. If there are people who are below you, you keep thanking God every time. At least I'm better.
Yeah.
You always remind yourself, at least I'm better than here.
Yeah.
At least people at your age, mostly we look at age. People at your age mate, you always be sure you can constantly empty your heart with them. Like you can constantly talk about your problems. What you see is very difficult, and you share most of the things. And then you have a mentor who you will always ask questions. Yeah.
And I love that you mentioned that your mentor doesn't have to be your friend.
No,
Shouldn't
no,
be
no.
your friend actually.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
You
need
need
to
to
mwenye
tell you the
anakucorrect.
truth.
Hey, mwenye anakuambia too far.
Yeah. Unaenda
Too
sana.
much. Come back. So it's somebody just checking on you,
Yeah.
and you checking on that person. Yeah.
Would you ever get lonely as a mom?
Oh yes. Wow, what a lonely world. Wow. It's a very lonely.
Tushajihurumia jamani.
It's a very lonely world because you don't know what is going. You know, you are not comparing yourself, but you don't know what is going on outside your. Na huko nje watu wanafanya.
Outside your walls.
Hey,
uko peke
watu
yako
wanafanya.
mahali. Yeah.
You can even dress up and wonder, sasa naenda wapi?
You had
Yeah,
that.
nani? Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I so many times I've really showered, thought I'm going to town, and I'm like, nenda wapi? Nenda kwa nani? Nani best yangu? Even lack any. You have them, but you know everyone have their own agendas in a certain day.
Yeah.
Unakaa tu unasema kai. So you call someone and they're like, niko job nitakupigia. Niko mahali nitakupigia. Niko mazishi nitakupigia. And you are like, okay. Here I am, my world. So many times you find yourself you're lonely unless you plan. Like most of the times I call my girls and I tell them, sisi kufulani tufanye hii. Sisi kufulani tuende mahali fulani. Sisi kufulani because house and you and inside.
Yeah. Mtaka.
They come to you are stuck. You feel stuck. Yeah.
Okay. So you have to pre-plan mapema because it's
Kabisa.
important.
Kama leo ni siku gani? Leo ni Friday.
Yeah.
Tell your girls like Tuesday next week, let's dress this way. Let's go out.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have an experience of doing that? Is it something that you do, or is it something that you would consider?
Actually, it's something that I do, but rarely. I'm actually considering taking it to another level.
Yeah.
And as I said, you be very intentional, like you plan, because if you don't plan, you won't do it.
Yeah.
You'll be just stuck there, because I think every time you'll have something holding you back. You're like, oh, today the baby has a cold. You see, now I decide, okay, maybe I'll go on Wednesday. On Wednesday, oh, the house girl is not around.
Yeah.
So you need to stick around.
Yeah.
But the moment you pre-plan and you decide, like, I want to do this, you do it, and therefore you'll realize that you'll be healthy, even psychologically.
Yeah.
You'll be fit enough to be able to take care of that family. Because otherwise you'll be overwhelmed, and at the end of the day, you'll find yourself, you're just exhausted.
Yeah.
You're not happy about anything, you're just sad. And I think it happens a lot.
Yeah.
Whereby a mother feels so lonely. Actually, I've been there. I remember there was a time I cried. Oh my. I can't tell you. I cried because I felt like I'm all alone in this world. What's happening? And at that moment, you see, your husband might not understand unless you open up and tell them what's happening inside you. Because maybe he'll just see, oh, you're there, the baby is okay. You see, you've had him or her, they are asleep, so what's wrong? They can't understand if you have anything that is troubling you, but the moment you speak up and you make sure that you open up to the world out there, you'll be able to cope up with motherhood quite in a better way. Yeah.
That's good. So maybe this would be a good thing to say for the mothers that are out there, because you're a young mom.
Yeah.
What would be a coping mechanism for a young mom who's feeling very lonely? Wanatuwatch na wanajua hiyo place yenye ulikuwa.
Yeah.
What would be a coping mechanism for them?
Okay.
Ulifanya nini ukiwa hiyo place?
the best thing that will save you is having a supportive network of, let's say, friends or family. If you look around, you'll find a person that you feel like I can be vulnerable with this person, or they can really understand me, because it's a place whereby you can't move all alone. You won't move. But the moment you have someone that you can speak to, the moment you have someone you can run to and you tell them, honestly, I'm feeling this low. I'm feeling like this motherhood thing, I'm not doing well. And that way, especially you don't go to, maybe I would advise you go to a person that is maybe had an experience of that, because that person will understand you. That person will hold your hand and you'll make it through.
Amazing.
So just a good connection, a good network of friends.
Okay.
And also trust in God.
Very
He
important.
is our number one friend.
Very important.
Yeah.
Very important. I see time inaenda sana. We're pressed for time. We have around 7 minutes. But maybe any last or second last? Last? Okay, second last question.
Okay.
Yeah. So another question you'd have for mom?
Okay, maybe I would ask Mom, what would you tell that lady that feels like they are just in a pit, they are stuck and they can't move, they're feeling like they've come to an end of it? So do they have hope to rise again, to feel hopeful, to enjoy life? Yeah.
There's so much. There's so much you can call upon. One, women, let's be prayerful. Just call upon the Lord. As David, I admire David, although to some point, that every time, however he was, he used to trust God on anything. Even in small things, big things, he used to trust God. Even us, like mothers, some things come and hit the wall. Try to the maximum and trust God, because if you trust anybody else, if you trust your husband, he can fail you. If you trust your friends, they can fail you. But if you trust God, you will have, at least you will have a relief. Number two, have dependable friends, because most of the times we don't make friends, and you know, making a friend is expensive. Have a number of friends, at least 2 or 3 people you can really rely on. Like if you're hungry, you know who you can call. If you're untidy in the house, I have girls, if they get into my house, they can really tidy my house. If I am doomed because I don't have like time, I have girls that I can call every time. So there's always somebody who will clear for you the way where you want. Like every specific, I have friends for specific loans. If I'm financially low, I have a friend I can call for money. If I'm untidy, it's normal to be untidy. But I have this girl I can call, clean up for me, and I'm like, wow, my house is clean. If I have, what else do we have short of?
If you're not mentally stable.
If you're not mentally, I have very good mentors. I have very good, like, I think according to my age, I always have friends of every class. And my mentors, some hit me hard, some tell me the truth, and I'm ready for anything as long as they are removing that dark moment in my life. Because at times you feel it's dark. So you know who to call when you feel dark. You know who to call at any particular time.
Very important. I love that. Maybe tell us, what is something that you've learned from this second part and haukuwa unajua before at all?
Well, number one, I've learned that you can't do this alone. You need some people around you. You need people that will support you. And also, on top of that, the number one help you'll get, the number one help that is guaranteed is from God. So just surrender everything to God. Your good moments, the not so good moments, just surrender it all to God. And you'll do good.
I love it. Now, I would love to ask this as the last question. Your mama tani bombastic side eye. As the last question. Your wedding. You had a very intimate wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was that? What would you say about that? You know, nowadays we have weddings that are 1 million with helicopters and I'm not saying they're bad. They're amazing. How will you know? I haven't done a wedding yet. But tell us.
Of course, it's a big wedding is a dream wedding for I think almost every girl.
Yeah.
Actually, when we are very young, that's what we want. Unless now, as you grow, you realize, okay, it doesn't have to be big.
Yeah.
But I believe that what really matters is what you get after the wedding. That's the life that should always determine the way forward in that journey. For instance, we had planned for a wedding that is a big wedding. Of course, I wanted a big wedding.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was the determinant of how good a wedding is. That was my thought then.
Yeah.
But it happened, we couldn't have that big wedding. And it was really intimate. And it was really great. I never thought it would be that good.
Yeah.
It was a wedding of tentatively maybe 20 people.
20 people.
Yeah.
Sasa 20 hata ni nani? Are they friends? Are they family? Utachoose nani wache nani for 20 people?
That is so very close friends
Yeah.
and also family that
Yeah.
is. And it was really nice.
Oh.
It was good. We had a very good time and we enjoyed every bit of it.
Yeah.
Because the good thing that about it also, budget pia
Kafinya.
yeah. So the budget, but also you really get to enjoy the day and it was quite good. I can say I enjoyed it.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I loved the wedding, yeah.
Asante.
And the life after the wedding, I also love it.
You love it.
Yeah.
Sasa hapo bamdo ningetaka waambie the young girls and even the young men who could probably be watching and they're really thinking and putting their mind and energy into planning the wedding and planning the wedding and planning the wedding and probably forgetting about that they should plan that tomorrow as well. What you do tell them?
I think most of the times we are misguided by the environment, by what people say, and it's not about the wedding, it's about the marriage.
Yeah.
So the best thing, the best part of it, that one day does not so much matter. What matters is after the big ceremony.
Yeah.
It's like going to church. The word is prepared. What you receive that Sunday is what is important, not the whole Sunday. What you learn that day, because you should live according to the word. What do you do after you hear the word? Because we all hear the word, but the way we live, it's what matters.
Yeah.
So I think the wedding is like that, not the whole day thing, not the event, but after that particular occasion. Because most of the times we have had people after that big ceremony, it has been done by so many people. It was calculated in so many ways, but that moment is when you realize, hiya, somebody didn't have fare to go elsewhere. That was the end.
Yeah, hata wajui wanaenda wapi.
Hata wajui wanaenda honeymoon wapi, hata wajui kesho watakula nini, hata wana fare kwenda honeymoon na hata hajapanga honeymoon. It was just the particular day.
Yeah. 12 hours hata alafu ile. It should even less than 12. 10 hours.
Few hours. Very few.
Yeah, very few hours alafu mnachanganyikiwa. Yeah.
Then you're confused the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Because madeni zinaingia. Unakuta hautaimit hautaifanya kitu ya maana.
So sad. So sad. So please plan your life and plan it well.
Yeah.
What would be your parting shot? What would you tell the young mothers from what we've talked about today?
Okay, what I would tell the young mothers today is that be positive about motherhood. Don't be negative.
Yeah.
Just focus on the good things. Because actually, you know, when you listen to stories, you might be misguided and feel like there's nothing good that comes with motherhood. But being a young mother is also very, very, let's say, interesting and exciting. Because you also get to get the purest of loves, joys, the hugs and everything.
Yeah.
So motherhood is a good journey
Yeah.
and it's a blessing. Being a mother is a great blessing, a privilege. So let's appreciate motherhood.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy being mothers, and let's enjoy life generally.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming for this episode.
Yes, you're
and
welcome.
for having this conversation about young mothers.
Thank you for having me.
Asante sana.
Yeah.
Mom,
Wow.
to the young mothers, unaweza waambiaje?
Young mothers, be happy, be positive, trust God in everything, have no worries, babies grow and they leave you.
Yeah.
So just be yourself and have a lot of friends. What I love best about children is that the hugs. Oh my God, all the times.
Yeah.
Hugging from one to the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
So love your children and wishing you the best as you grow. Yes.
Perfect. That has been such a good episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do this more. Nikatoka tunaongelea young mothers every episode.
Yes.
So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here on this episode. I know that you learned something. I've really learned a lot.
Sure.
Nimelearn sana. Yeah, so make sure you subscribe kama umejoin tukiwa mahali katikati. Today we're talking about young mothers, and of course you'd go from last week's episode and watch ile, and then we'll have this as the continuation, and you will get it. Please share the links, subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you comment, and tell us what you have learned from this particular episode. Asante sana. My name is Kahugu. Very happy and blessed to be here.
Patricia.
Yeah. Asante sana.